people on stage, basically.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
We are connecting. And now we are good to go. And we are live, Rahel.
Hello, everyone. Nice to see you here. I'm Rahel from EXA Bootcamp and Improverse. And yeah, I'm the co-founder of EXA Bootcamp. We are teaching virtual reality and augmented reality development for beginners and also very advanced development, virtual reality development. And also I'm very fascinated by virtual reality because it's not only for games, as so many people are always thinking, but it's really, and Oculus right now is actually branding it right now as a sports device, where you can do like really, really entertaining sports session with. And I want to brand it as like a device for self-improvement and personal development. And I hope you're all curious on learning more. But since we're not so many people, I would love each of you to introduce yourself and tell me a little bit what is interesting to you about this topic, and and what's maybe your background. So I think what you need to do that, and I hope everyone will please do that. Please raise your hand, and then we can get you on stage and let you like very quickly, just like a few sentences, introduce yourself. So I will just wait so that you can have time to raise your hands. Jutta, do you want to introduce yourself? Fabian, okay.
Hey, yeah, well, I'm super excited about VR as well, and I'm a puppeteer, so I'm rather having a background, and I would be interested in how can we do team building in VR. So like I can imagine coaching, but I would be interested in a team building like this togetherness moments. How can we create these ones?
Okay, thank you. Next one. Pedro, I cannot see that. I cannot see if someone else is raising their hands. So.
Yeah, I'm checking it. So no one is raising the hands. It's an option that it's somewhere here. It's very easy. You just raise your hand, and I will authorize.
Julian.
Okay,
Roberto.
Jutta, I will hand the mic to Jutta now. But yeah. And,
great. Thank you.
Hello. Hi. I'm very much interested in VR, but I don't have any idea about it. And I would really like to know what and how I could use it for group workshops.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. And what's your background?
I'm working as a facilitator and coach, and do workshops on creative thinking and on constructive communication.
Really cool. Thank you. I think you also had a session here, right?
Yesterday, yes. And after this, I will have a German session. So I invite you to join me as well.
Definitely. Thank you.
Okay.
Next one, maybe Tisha or Stefano. Julian.
Don't
you
be
have
shy.
to raise your hands.
Digital. Well, I know that on mobile phone, maybe the option is not there. So people on desktop, they see it, but maybe on mobile, it's not there. But you can also use the chat. So here, the chat, you can also write.
Yeah. If you could just raise your hands, maybe if you have like, if you can just write like who you are and maybe team sports. Okay.
Someone here, Roberto. I'm gonna hand the mic to Roberto. He's gonna be on stage now. Any minute. Okay, here he is.
Hello.
Hi, Roberto.
Hi, Roberto.
Hi, I'm a technical manager. I don't know what I have to do because I just entered. Please raise your hands.
Just tell me who you are and what you're especially interested in.
Okay, I am a technical manager in several fields, mainly in technology, obviously, and addicted to innovation and technology. That could
Very
summarize
cool.
my...
Thank you very much, Roberta.
Okay. Someone else wants to raise their hand?
Yeah, anyone else who would like to introduce themselves? And I think that's actually this cool thing about online conferences, that everyone basically can introduce themselves. And it's like getting away from just this passive consumption, but actually actively engaging. And that's why I'm very curious to hear who is actually here today. And yeah, and I would love you to raise your hand to get on stage and to just say 1 or 2 words about yourself. 10 more seconds.
Okay.
Otherwise, yeah, sure. Actually, Ferhan is also there. Maybe you want to promote Ferhan on stage? Ferhan, you have to raise your hand. You cannot promote people without them raising their hand.
Without raising the hands, it's not. I'm trying to see here. You would need to raise the hand.
So he apparently did raise his hand. So, okay. Otherwise, yeah, I can also start my presentation.
Yes, because I don't see it. I'm sorry.
Okay, share screen. And are you able to see my screen? Pedro, can you hear me?
No, unfortunately, it's not sharing.
Hello? I cannot hear you.
Yes. Rahel?
Yes.
I see a sign
hello?
that you don't have. Yes, I'm sorry. On my side, I see a sign that you have low internet signal. I don't know, but we are not able to see your presentation so far.
Okay. Can you share my presentation?
If you send me?
Yeah, 1 second. I'll send you the link.
I'm sorry for the technical issues. I will write here if you have my personal email, because I'm not looking at pedrogmferreira@gmail.com. But you can try once again.
Yeah. I think maybe the easiest.
You sent it, Rahel?
No, I'm
thank
really
you for
like
that.
the band.
Rahel?
I'll maybe just reconnect during a different, using a different Wi-Fi. 1 second.
Okay. Beep, beep, beep. Farhan, do you want to try to raise your hands once again? And I try to bring you on stage? Or someone? If someone raised the hands, I will promote. Meanwhile, we are waiting for Rahel. I'm sorry for this technical issue. Maybe I will show you a bit VR first. First. And now I'm going to present VR first. So this is VR First, the company that Rahel represents. They do have partnerships and run hackathons in different labs, universities all over the globe, with a lot of partnerships worldwide. Let's see, developers. I don't see. I hope that Rahel will come in a bit. Well, this is a great topic. Why is the demand for XR engineers growing? Maybe Rahel can talk about this later. Although the graph.
Thank you so much for for presenting more about VR First. Awesome. That's such a long time ago. Can you hear me? Hello? 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 Huh, I hear something.
Rahel.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hi. So yeah, I will just only one person can share screen at a given time. So if you want, I can try again. Awesome. So entire screen. Can you see it now? Can you see my screen?
No, unfortunately, I don't know what's happening, but no.
Did you receive the link to the presentation? Otherwise, for now, I will just start. I mean, it would be nice to show the videos, etc. But yeah, I mean, I can already tell you a little bit more about what I wanted to talk about. So what I think is very, very fascinating about virtual reality, as I already said, it's really cool that it's not only a gaming device. It's, as Oculus is always saying, it's also a sports device. And it's also, as I would call it, a self-improvement personal development device. As you all know, personal coaches are very, very expensive. And it's also also, it's also not available at any time of the day, right? Like you have to arrange a meeting with a coach. You have to really like the coach. You also have to, you're depending on basically your financial means, and also, of course, the time limits of your personal coach. And what you can do with virtual reality, basically, there's you can exercise so many different settings which are not easily actually to repeat in real life. Like, for example, negotiation training. You can put yourself into meetings, into business meetings, which are basically pre-played and pre-recorded for you. And then you can exercise on how you will react in different settings and how you will basically manage a meeting in different ways. And I'm really fascinated because I tried so many different solutions for that in the last weeks, because I have like my own personal project now that I want to really get that message out there, that you can actually do a lot of different things apart from gaming in virtual reality. And I mean, imagine yourself like about conflicts, right? Like in reality, conflicts are also not always happening all the time, so that you cannot exercise yourself in real life in conflict management. But in virtual reality, you can try as many conflicts as you like, and try to react in different ways and see what is actually the best kind of reaction in different situations of conflict. And of course, same as for that's definitely very important for leadership skills. And one very important type of training that I would also put into this social and soft skills training is the social anxiety and social phobia training. So it's really ranging from business people, managers who want to just learn how to lead and how to also do diversity and inclusion in a better way, how to deal with that. There's so many apps, virtual reality apps out there, which are already doing that, and which are doing that for right now only businesses. But I want to make it accessible for everyone, because I think it's definitely something that everyone out there is already interested in. But since it's not so easy, or also like it's of course you can watch many YouTube videos, for example, on the topic, but being yourself in the situation and reacting yourself and watching yourself afterwards, that's something which you can definitely not do now. But with virtual reality, it's becoming incredibly easy. So and there is a huge I will just get back. Pedro, did you receive my presentation link? Okay, because I wanted to show you a few graphs which are actually showing how much in demand soft skills are right now. Like, it's one of the biggest critical things that business leaders are seeing right now, that they want to improve their organizations. Every employee should work on their EQ, on their social influence skills, on their leadership skills, learning mindsets, critical thinking, problem solving skills, and so on and so on. And 83%, when I'm quoting the statistics, of organizations say that it is actually important to develop their soft skills at all levels. But only 5% of organizations actually have a solution to train soft skills at organizational scale. So there's a huge gap. And this gap is actually existing because coaching, which would be needed, like one-on-one coaching, is so expensive. Like, you cannot just like go and have every employee take a personal coach and pay for that. It would just be prohibitive in terms of cost. I mean, of course, you could think of other solutions, like, for example, a classroom training. But then again, it's becoming so passive. It's the coaching solutions, coaching is like really one-on-one. Classroom solution, really limited, because you're again becoming the passive consumer of something which is happening in front of the classroom, is not really tailored to your own problems. You will just you will maybe do like trainings with other students as well, but the feedback will never be as individual as, of course, with your own coach. So what else could there exist? Then there's e-learning, and that's really like the mass scalable solution, which is accessible right now in organizations. But again, that's really becoming so passive, and you're not actually doing this active learning, which is so important. And there's also like a quote I wanted to show you. It's learning is a process whereby knowledge is created through the transformation of experience. And again, experience is how we are learning. Like, we are not learning by passively consuming content. We are actually learning by actively trying out things. It's like learning a language where you're like, yeah, passively you can know some vocabulary, but you can only actively use it once you have like yourself used the word about 10 times. Then it's part of your active memory, and you can actually use this word by yourself. Is there any other response? Soft skills. They weren't called soft skills. Yeah, true. Yeah. Okay, I was just reading. Okay, now I'm going back to the presentation. And there's actually another fun study I wanted to share with you, is that there is like a study, and it's like listing, basically it's asked people, what is your biggest fear? And the biggest fear of people is public speaking. And number 2 is actually death. So death is what people are second most scared about after public speaking. And I don't know if that sounds right to you, but yeah, if you're going to a funeral, for example, you would be better off in the casket than actually doing the speech in front of everyone, right? The eulogy. So, but what if you could practice that? Like, what if you could practice that in a real life situation, like in virtual reality? So, and also like get feedback from your virtual reality training. And there's like so many solutions right now out there, which are actually giving you these kind of situations in virtual reality. Like, they are putting you in front of a business meeting. They are putting you in front of a large crowd in a conference setting. And they are also making you have experienced these kind of situations where someone in the public is making remarks or asking questions or leaving or not looking at you. So you can basically like train yourself with all of these kind of situations, which could irritate you in real life, or which could make you be disturbed or lose your red line. And when you're exercising that a lot, you will get much more safe, and you will just be so much more confident afterwards on the public speaking on the stages, basically. And that's why I'm personally so convinced of virtual reality solutions, because it's giving you that experience, which is so important to basically memorize and get your own soft skills into the subconscious, into your basically into your intuitive knowledge, so that you can really use it when you need it. And yeah, and there's so many also like PwC did a very big study. It's called the VR soft skills study. It was released in June last year. And it's showing that, yeah, basically you're 4 times more connected to the classroom, more connected to the experience than you would have in a classical classroom learning setting. You're 300% more confident to act on what you learned in the training. And also it takes, it's 4 times more faster to learn in virtual reality than in the classroom. So that's why already so many businesses, so many large businesses have virtual reality soft skills training also already realized in their own companies. Like, for example, there's Lloyd's. 500 people are currently doing empathy training in virtual reality. For Lloyd's Banks, there is PwC, which are already having 1,600 virtual reality learners, and they are learning how to hire, how to staff, how to have difficult conversations with people, and all that in virtual reality. And of course, there is the most famous one, actually Walmart. Walmart has already 1 million employees in 5,000 locations, which are doing virtual reality training to learn how to communicate with customers in the best way. Yeah, so basically it started already. Virtual reality is already used, but on a business level. And for everyone who's not working in big companies, unfortunately, it's a little bit inaccessible. And also, like right now, of course, the headsets, they're getting cheaper and cheaper, so that's great. But it's still difficult to get these kind of solutions and to get the license keys, etc. Since it's always B2B solutions, it's very expensive. But I would really, I mean, what I'm doing now is I'm going to set up an event where I'm going to send out headsets, and then everyone who signs up to the event will basically be able to to try those solutions and those apps. So in the end, to have basically a self-improvement platform where everyone can to democratize personal development and soft skills trainings for everyone. So I would like to close this small presentation. That's nice, Jutta.
Rahel?
I'm definitely. Yes.
Can you explain a little bit more about it? Because I see I'm interested, Jutta is interested, Fabian maybe is interesting as well. How does it work? How can we join?
Yeah, I'm right now. I'm always like so interested in you, Pedro, because it's just fascinating how you set up this event in like no time with so many people and everything. So I actually want to get your help in setting up this event. But yeah, of course. I'm really looking to do it in this summer, definitely. So please, everyone who wants to join, either like I would love to connect with you on LinkedIn so that I don't lose your contacts, right? So I'm going to have like a website set up pretty soon, and everything is in the making already. And I'm already talking with all of the solution providers, which are going to provide me with the apps. And awesome, thank you, Jutta. And I think it's really fun, and it will be a fun event definitely, and you will get so many more details on all these solutions as well. And as I said, there's already like so many solutions out there which are worth trying. And I'm just going to the questions, was there a question that I missed, Pedro?
No. And I'm sorry if I interrupted. But yes, it seems very interesting what you just mentioned. As well, just to add on the data that you shared with us, I think Facebook is another company that hired 1/3 of their employees are working in the new XR VR lab, isn't it? I think I read about it some weeks ago, and which is huge.
Facebook is investing so heavily in virtual reality. I mean, they have the best, they definitely released the best headset in terms of quality-price relationship, the Oculus Quest 2, which if anyone wants to, I mean, it's 350 euros. It's like nothing. I mean, compared to your smartphones, average smartphone you have, like you can definitely afford the 350 euro headset. And the games and the apps that are out there. And there's so many experiences on the Quest which are also for free. Like lots of like video experience, which are just amazing. I can just recommend anyone to buy it. and it's just a great headset, and you can do anything with it. So yeah, Facebook is really on the best consumer-oriented company out there in terms of virtual reality. They're also working heavily on basically having a virtual workspace. And I think, if we want to talk about basically group activities in virtual reality, there's already lots of group experiences that you can do. Of course, the problem is always how to get actually everyone in the group that you want to have participate. How you want everyone to get the headset, right? So that's kind of the difficult part. Like, of course, if it's a B2B, basically a workshop or something like that, I guess everyone can afford a 350 euro headset. But of course, it adds up to the total costs, right? So that's always a little bit the difficult thing. And I would like always recommend to to buy cheaper headsets. It doesn't really make so much sense, because then you're losing on the immersiveness of the experience, and you're losing of basically the whole what virtual reality is actually all about really feeling that you're in a different environment, as you're really in a different place. But there's already like golfing experiences, fishing experience, all these kind of team building activities. I mean, there's so many things you can do in VR. You can do anything you actually can do in real life, right? It's just the question is always how much processing power does your headset have. But there's definitely already all kinds of group activities you could do. And that's not the difficult part, right? The difficult part, I feel, is always like how do you get everyone to have the headsets? And that's always just a cost question. So yeah, maybe we have to wait for these kind of group and team building activities until like it's more more democratized, when everyone has the headsets. And also, like with the Oculus Quest 2 in Germany, it's currently the problem that you can only buy it from Amazon.fr, because from Amazon France, they have it stocked in Germany, but officially it's not being, German stores can just not legally sell it because of privacy issues, etc. Because of course you have to use your Facebook account to use it, and German authorities are not okay with that. So I mean, right now there's huge discussions, negotiations going on about that, and we don't know how it's going to end. I hope that you can finally use the Quest because it's the best headset out there. I can just recommend it to anyone. I mean, you can buy it, you can just not buy it in German stores. But there's lots of other European countries around where you can get it very easily. Is there any other question I could answer? Yeah, Improverse. Yeah, I was not sure because I mean, it's improvement and a universe. So I hope that's clear.
So Improverse is your new company?
Yeah, it's basically the project title I gave it. My first idea. I didn't come up with a better idea yet, so I didn't officially like put improverse.com yet. But if I don't come up with a better idea, that's going to be it. Yeah.
Okay. John asked the question in the chat. Can you speak to how VR soft skills training can reflect human nuance? His main concern would be that software can sometimes miss empathy. Can you?
Yeah, I mean, of course, it has like when you're basically in these kind of group settings in these training situations. It's, I mean, for example, or if you're also in these like public speaking settings, right? It will, for example, measure how many times you're saying or how many times you're using fill words, you know, or how many times it's also looking at how many times you're not looking directly at the eyes of your or basically of the setting in which you are of your audience. So it can only, of course, measure things which are kind of like easily implementable by certain AI functionalities, right? So of course it cannot really like, I mean, we're not there yet, just like to look at your like so many different human nuances. But what I think is very, very useful, like super useful actually, is that in all of these kind of settings, you're being recorded. And afterwards, you're going to watch yourself from this third eye perspective. And since it's avatars, you're not really seeing yourself, right? It's not really like you're not seeing your own face, etc. But you're really looking at the other person, at yourself, at your own recording, as if it was another person. And that's actually the valuable part, because then you really can, because sometimes it's kind of hard to abstract from yourself. Like even if I'm like watching myself speak, I will see myself maybe even better than I'm actually am, because I'm just like so much emphasizing with myself, right? And I'm understanding myself much better than other people maybe would. So it's actually much better to really like watch yourself in a third perspective, from a third perspective, and then you can criticize yourself much better because you're really becoming objective and you're really seeing yourself in a different angle, and that's actually really valuable. And that's and then you can also like the kind of nuances you're speaking about. I think you can measure them yourself actually, and then it can really be helpful.
Okay, Rahel, I just posted here on the chat a link of a company called Avalingo. I don't know if you know them, but indeed, as you know, I'm also working with Founders Institute here in Frankfurt. And this company, Avalingo, came to our last course, the previous one. And indeed, it's interesting because what they do is really the mix between VR and language learning. So they developed VR spaces for people to learn language, just as you are describing. So it's really nice. That maybe you should check it out. And I think that there are some synergies, and you should talk to them as well.
Yeah. Right now, my objective is really to have this event set up, because I feel it can just be so amazing to have everyone actually try the potential, right? And to go away from this only focus on gaming and VR, because it's really like, I think, I mean, Oculus is doing a great job at saying that virtual reality is also for sports, right? But I think it's also so much better for self-development and personal improvement. I think that could also be a great focus on virtual reality, because there is like even especially when we want to get more women into the whole tech scene, right? To showing that there's actually like different options, and that there's not only like ego shooters out there, right? You can really like make them also like, and we need more women in the industry. And I'm always seeing that also in our courses right now at EXA Bootcamp, that we have 90% men only in taking our courses. So it's very hard to get. I mean, we have a lot of like programs support programs, but it's not only that it's like that the courses are too expensive or whatever. It's really that there's not so many applications from women who want to take our courses, and that's always like, yeah, like really sad to see. Especially young women, I think today have really all the options out there and can really enter tech so much more easily without like with so many different role models already out there. So yeah, it's an option, and we really have to broaden the view for everyone and to see that it's not only one thing available in tech.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and indeed we have, well, some of the Singularity University leaders that are joining today. Well, most of them are female, by the way. They will also speak about the bias. So how AI is written in a way that is still having some issues and creating some bias, and that we should try to solve them. So it goes in the direction that you are just mentioning as well, Rahel. But yeah, I also try to involve as much as possible some communities that you are also part of, like women in interactive media. Hopefully in the next events we can get even more female speakers. But I think here we had already a good balance.
Definitely, definitely. Thanks for inviting me, Peter.
Rahel, you have 4 more minutes because I need to jump as well with Jutta, because Jutta will start a session now at 4 and I also need to be there. I don't know, in the audience, do we have additional questions? Or Hale, feel free to give your last thoughts or insights.
Yeah, I mean, please connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm always looking forward to new connections, and I'm always willing to talk with anyone about new virtual reality ideas. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing you all at my event about VR experiences, and yeah, looking forward to that.
Thank you, Rahel. You don't have the website up?
No, not yet. Not soon.
Okay, but then I'm sure we will support it as well as ecosystem supporters or partners. I really love what you do, so let's hope that I can support as well with the Experience Plus, Singularity University, and I will share with our attendees. And by the way, I'm sorry for the technical issues if you were not able to share the presentation.
No worries. I hope everything.
But you did a great job. Okay, thank you, Rahel.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.